Jake Ludington here at HPE Discover, and I'm here with Jeanne Morain. And you wrote the second volume of Embracing Digital Transformation. You also wrote the first volume. But what inspired you to write the book?
Customers. So I started out in product management for over 17 years. And I was one of the original product managers that created business service management. So the very first book that I contributed to over a decade ago was really looking at, with nascent markets, people need a guide. And not just around technology, but people, process, how do I actually get there? So more of the how versus the what and the why.
And so in Embracing Digital Transformation, you're also showing people how to do that?
Exactly. So it's not just only based on my opinion, but also my experience in implementing a digital transformation strategy for a Fortune 5 company around cloud computing, because cloud computing is the epicenter. That's where the rubber meets the road. If you think about from client mobility to virtual desktop infrastructures, cloud is really where everything's happening today. So it's helping people to understand between both the business and IT, how do I pull it all together in this world of hybrid applications that aren't really all greenfield, but a combination of green and brownfield with legacy apps.
And it looks like in your book you've kind of got like a 5-step process that people follow. Can you kind of summarize what that is and the process people go through?
Absolutely. So the first step is really creating command and control. So having a seat at the table from an executive perspective, pulling together this cloud center of excellence and making sure that you have the right people there, not just from technology, but the business, from FP&A, from accounting, from audit, security. So you're creating this cohesive strategy. The second one is creating your roadmap to cloud. So understanding where you're at today versus where you're trying to get tomorrow, and what does that look like? The third is calibrating your costs and compliance. So really understanding from the company's perspective, what are the costs? And not just the costs that most people give you around cloud based on a cash flow model, but looking at other costs that are hidden, like ISP cost, because the data has to get there somewhere. Other costs for resources and people, because sometimes you think, oh, I can let these assets go if I migrate to a cloud strategy, but oftentimes you still need them to integrate, to iterate, to understand what's going on. And then the fourth is actually building that cloud service platform, or building that cloud service strategy reality and implementing it. And then the fifth is executing it, iterating it, and evaluating it for continuous delivery. And when we talk about continuous CI/CD process, it should really be CI/CD process, continuous improvement, continuous integration, and then continuous delivery.
So where do you see people running into the biggest challenges when they're going through this transformation process?
It's people. It's more fear, uncertainty, and doubt. So you've got certain individuals that are afraid that their job's going to go away. So they need to reinvent themselves. The DBAs now need to become the data strategists. The security engineers should become the security architects. So they need to reinvent themselves. So distill the FUD factor. Getting the executive level buy-in so that they understand, because they know what's going on, they need to do transformation, but how do I do it? How do I implement it? How do I actually embrace it with my people and processes, and then create the technology that needs to happen for the company itself?
Are there any other things that you would want to call out and highlight in terms of this process?
The key thing for the process is it really takes an all-in approach, and you want to have an incubation period. So a way to onboard. So when you look at that bimodal element that many of the analysts like Gartner talk about, where they're going to have agile, they're going to have waterfall, they're going to have that for a while. So understanding how do you create that bimodal bridge to make it work for the company. Every company is unique. Every phase that they take is a little different, but I can tell you when people say you get to service broker, cloud brokers, and you're done, that's not the case. That's what we wrote about in Visible Ops 6 years ago. It was great back then, but now companies need to move to the next level. So looking at that hybrid service management, application modernization, and really becoming a partner with the business and working with them versus trying to dictate to them what they're going to do.
So how do people get this book?
So they can get iSpeak Cloud Embracing Digital Transformation from HPE Software. So they'll have a digital download. We'll be announcing it actually through a press release of how to obtain it on June 28th, or here, booth 223 at the show. And then they can get the original volume 1, the one written like a play, at the Avnet booth, as well as that one is available on Amazon.com.